So, good afternoon, my dear students. In the last class, we have talked about what is a black body, how can we make a practical black body, uh, what are emissive power and absorptive power of a body. We have talked about Kirchhoff law, and from that, we have seen that uh, a good emitter is also a good absorber, and vice versa. That means a good absorber can be treated as a good emitter also. And from that concept of emissive power of a body, we have seen the practical black body curve, which looks like this. So again, what is plotted here? Here we are plotting intensity of radiation as a function of wavelength. And what was intensity of radiation or emissive power of a body? We can plot intensity of radiation along y-axis, or we can plot emissive power of the body along y-axis. The nature will be same. What is intensity of radiation? Again, intensity of radiation is the amount of energy emitted by a body per unit area per unit time. Clear? So it is the energy measured per unit area per unit time. That is intensity. If you look around yourself, you will observe whatever devices you are using, either the intensity you are measuring with them, or you are saying power of them. So generally, we do not directly measure energy. We measure energy via intensity or via power. Power is energy per unit time, and intensity is energy per unit area per unit time. That is the basic difference. And emissive power, we have observed that emissive power is also dependent on the temperature, that means the temperature of the body which is emitting the radiation, and it also depends on the wavelength of radiation. So here we are observing at a particular temperature T1. That means the body is heated at this temperature T1. Say T1 is 1000 Kelvin. So if you heat the body at 1000 Kelvin, then you measure the intensity of radiation coming out of the body. You are measuring the intensity of radiation coming out of the body at different wavelengths. That means, say at this wavelength, you are measuring the intensity and plot it here. Again, another wavelength, you get another intensity of radiation, E lambda. You are measuring E lambda at different wavelengths and plotting those points. So you are plotting a large number of intensity of radiation, E lambda, for different wavelengths. So what you are actually plotting on the graph paper, a large number of points whose x is the wavelength, y value is E lambda or intensity of radiation. Now if you connect those points, you get a smooth curve like this. This is an experimental curve. Okay, this is an experimental curve. So you observe this intensity of radiation. This is only for a particular temperature T1. And the characteristics we have discussed, that intensity of radiation is not uniformly distributed for all wavelengths. That means intensity is not same for all wavelengths. You observe for this wavelength, intensity is this. This is the value of intensity. This is the value of intensity for this wavelength. Whereas for this wavelength, intensity increases. For this wavelength, intensity is larger. So intensity is not same for all wavelengths. So we can say intensity is not uniformly distributed for all wavelengths. What we can say, that intensity increases first with increasing wavelength, attains a maximum, reaches a maximum, then decreases with increasing wavelength. That's what happens. So this is the practically observed pattern. Okay, now if we increase the temperature, what will happen? Now logically speaking, if we increase the temperature, that means you are supplying more amount of heat energy to the body. Think of it, how can you increase the temperature of the body? You need to supply more amount of heat to that body. So you are supplying more amount of energy in any form. You are supplying more amount of energy to the body. So it is expected that the radiation will also be increased. The radiation emitted by the body will also be increased. Let's observe. Yes, you observe now total intensity has been enhanced. Total intensity is increased when you increase the temperature to T2. T2 is greater than T1. Say T2 is 2000 Kelvin. Initially our temperature was say 1000 Kelvin. Now we have increased it to 2000 Kelvin. So at that temperature, you observe the pattern, or better to say the characteristics are similar. Again, the intensity increases. First of all, intensity is again not uniformly distributed for all wavelengths. Intensity increases with increasing wavelength, attains the maximum, then decreases with increasing wavelength. So basic characteristics is same, but one thing is changed. What is that? I also talked about the color which actually observed. When you hit a body, we observe a single color. What color is actually observed? The color or wavelength for which intensity is maximum. Like in the first case, for T1. For T1, please mute yourself. If you have any query, we'll discuss it. So for T1, we observe that the intensity is maximum at this particular wavelength. Intensity is maximum at this particular wavelength. Therefore, we'll observe only this wavelength coming out of that body. That means suppose this we are observing red color. That means intensity is maximum at red wavelength. Here when you increase the temperature to T2, you are then again intensity is maximum at a particular color. For a particular wavelength, intensity is maximum, and we'll observe only that color coming out of the body, though other wavelengths are present. Now the interesting thing is that when you increase the temperature, you observe the peak is slightly shifted. Peak is not at the same position. This is the peak for T1, this is the peak for T2. Peak is slightly shifted towards the lower wavelength side. Lambda M2 is less than lambda M1. Hopefully you can understand from this graph. So lambda M2 is less than lambda M1. That means when we increase the temperature, the wavelength corresponding to maximum intensity shifts towards the lower wavelength side. It is observed. Is it true? Let's check for other temperature. Now we have increased the temperature to T3, say 3000 Kelvin. When the temperature is increased, first of all, intensity is increased drastically. Of course, we know that we are supplying more heat energy, so it is expected we will get more amount of light energy. But amount of energy is very large. Why? We will discuss later. So, but the nature or characteristics remain same. That means with increasing wavelength, intensity increases, that is the maximum, then decreases. And the observation we have made in the previous case is also true here. That means the peak again shifts towards the lower wavelength side. So you observe when temperature is increased from T1 to T2 to T3, when temperature is increased, the wavelength for which peak is observed shifts towards the lower wavelength side. The peak is shifted towards the lower wavelength side. Now, Professor Wine observed it very carefully. He did some thorough experiment. That means he has observed it for a large number of temperatures. And he observed that there is a relation between this temperature and the wavelength at which peak is observed. He found out a relationship between the temperature in Kelvin and the wavelength at which peak is observed. So that means if you say, let me change it to pen. If you say that lambda M1 is the wavelength at which peak is observed at temperature T1, similarly lambda M2 is the wavelength for maximum peak at temperature T2, similar case for lambda 3 T3. He observed that these are same. Lambda M1 T1 equal to lambda M2 T2, lambda M3 T3, and so and so. Whatever temperature you can observe, you observe the pattern. So in general, we can say lambda M T equals to constant. That means lambda m is inversely proportional to temperature. Lambda m is inversely proportional to temperature. So more the temperature, less the wavelength at which peak is observed. This law is called Wien's displacement law. Displacement, because with increasing temperature, wavelength at which peak is observed is displaced towards the lower wavelength side. It is displaced towards the lower wavelength side. That's why it is called Wien's displacement law. And this constant value, lambda mt equals to constant, that constant value is 2.9 into 10 to the power minus 3. It is 2.9 into 10 to the power minus 3. Please note down this value. This is in SI unit, that means meter Kelvin, because unit of wavelength is meter and unit of temperature Kelvin. So it is 2.9 10 to the power minus 3 meter Kelvin. Please note it down. You will require it when you apply this law to measure different cases. As for example, suppose there is a distant star. You can only observe the star, but you cannot reach it. Now, if you check Google, you can find out the temperature of different stars. Whatever stars are visible, you can observe. You can find out the temperature of that star. How the temperature is measured? It is measured by this Wien's displacement law. Simple. Suppose there is a star and we are observing the color from that star. Say the color is orange. So it is determined what is the wavelength of orange color. So that lambda m is known then. Lambda m is known. If you know the color, that means if you know the wavelength of orange, you know lambda m. Constant is known. So from that, estimate temperature. Simple. Very simple. Suppose you are at home, you are using a heater, just a coil, and when current flows through that coil, then heat is generated and radiation is also occurring. Both actually you are getting from that. Now, there are several ways to measure the temperature. One is this. If you just check what is the color you are getting from that red hot wire, if you can measure that, if you can understand what is the color radiated from that wire, that means lambda m is known, because as I told you earlier, that only the wavelength corresponding to peak is observed. That means only lambda m is observed. So find out the wavelength. Suppose you are very sure that you are getting red color coming out of it, actual red color. The red has different shades. For all the shades, you can find out the wavelength. So find the wavelength for which you are observing the color. That means suppose you are observing a particular shade of red coming out of the heater. So find the wavelength for that. You can find it from a chart, you Google it. So you are getting the wavelength lambda m. So lambda m into T equals 2.9 10 to the minus 3. From that, find out the temperature. Easy. We'll have different applications. Okay, next thing to notice is that I'm doing the same curves again. So again, intensity versus radiation, intensity of radiation versus wavelength, and hopefully you understand this is for temperature T1 Kelvin, lower temperature, say 1000 Kelvin. So for that, we want the we are observing the intensity of radiation. Now again, what was that intensity of radiation? It means that for, let me change the color. Say this one. So what you are doing here, say for a particular wavelength, this is your E lambda point. This is your E lambda for this wavelength. This is your E lambda for another wavelength. This is your E lambda for another wavelength, and so on. So from this curve, what you are actually observing, you are observing different E lambda intensity of radiation or emissive power. You are estimating different emissive power for different wavelength values. You have the E lambdas. Okay. Now if I ask you, okay, that means again, this is E lambda for a particular wavelength. This is E lambda for another wavelength. This is E lambda for another wavelength. Why can't I draw it normally? This is right. This is E lambda for this wavelength, and so and so. Now, if I ask you that you are telling me the E lambda values for different wavelengths. Okay, that means for say 2000 angstrom, this is E lambda. For 3000 angstrom, this is E lambda, and so and so. I want the total emissive power. I want the total intensity for all wavelengths. Get my point? I want the total intensity for all wavelengths. How will you do that? You know math. You know math very well. You will just add these lines.
Area under the curve, sir. Area.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
That means mathematically you are just adding these lines. You are mathematically adding these all these lines.
Yes, sir.
You are mathematically adding these lines. That's summation. And when the change is very small, we can say we are taking the integration. And integration is nothing but area under the curve. Very good. That means what we require? We require this total area under this curve. This is our total area under the curve. So whenever we are asked that what is the total intensity of radiation, what is the total intensity of radiation, that means we have to find out the total area under the curve. We have to find out the total area under the curve. So this is the total intensity. This is the total intensity. Hopefully you can observe the total area under the curve. This is the total intensity at temperature T1. Now if we increase the temperature, what will happen? Curve will be changed. We have observed it before, because when you increase the temperature, that means you are increasing the heat, you are supplying more amount of heat. As a result, you are getting more amount of light energy. So it is expected that total intensity should be larger also. Let's observe. This is the total intensity for all wavelengths now. In the previous case, for T1 Kelvin, this was the total intensity for all wavelengths. But now this is the total intensity for all wavelengths. If we increase the temperature more, it is for T3, area under the curve is much more. So this is the total area under the curve. This is the total area under the curve. So hopefully you understood that if we increase the temperature, total intensity increases drastically. That means somehow total intensity is related to the temperature, and that was given by Stephen Boltzmann law. From this experimental observation, they summarize that total intensity of radiation, we are writing it as capital E only. E lambda, we are writing E lambda when we are measuring intensity at a particular wavelength. That means suppose you are asked what is the intensity of radiation at 5000 angstrom at a particular value. And whereas capital E, only capital E means total intensity covering all wavelengths. That is total area under the curve. So according to Stephen Boltzmann law, that capital E is proportional to T to the power 4. T to the power 4 is not only proportional to T, it is T to the power 4. That's why you observe when temperature is increased, it is the total area increased so much. Total area is increased so much because total area or capital E, total intensity of radiation, is proportional to T to the power 4, fourth power of temperature. That's why. And this sigma is the proportionality constant. It is called Stephen's constant. So in short, what we have observed so far, first point, from the intensity pattern or intensity spectrum, we have observed that energy is not uniformly distributed at a particular temperature. Rather, intensity of radiation increases with increasing temperature for all values of wavelength, and at a particular temperature, intensity increases, attains with wavelength, attains a maximum, then decreases. Most importantly, the wavelength corresponding to the maximum intensity shifts towards the lower wavelength side when you increase the temperature. That means lambda m into T is constant, what we call as Wien's displacement law. That if you increase the temperature, then peak shifts towards the lower wavelength side. Peak is displaced towards the lower wavelength side, Wien's displacement law. And the area under the curve corresponding to a particular temperature, that is the total intensity of radiation, is proportional to fourth power of temperature. It is proportional to fourth power of temperature. It is proportional to fourth power of temperature, and that is called Stephen-Boltzmann law. Okay, just tell me, suppose you want to measure the temperature of sun. You want to measure the temperature of sun, closest star to us. How can you measure? It's not possible to take a rocket, go to sun, place a thermometer in sun, and measure the temperature. So it's not the way we measure temperature. So how will you measure the temperature of sun? The technique.
We calculate we calculate the intensity from different wavelengths and draw a graph after that.
No need of that, because already Stephen's law is there. This is the
Yes,
approach,
sir.
right? But why will you do that? You have the Stephen-Boltzmann law. What you will do? What Stephen-Boltzmann law says, that E equals to sigma T to the power 4. What is E?
Yes, sir.
E is the total intensity. So measure
Yes,
the
sir.
total intensity of radiation. How will you measure? We'll discuss. Or you can say it here also. You need to, this is E equal to sigma T to the power 4. Okay, you require T. Sigma is a constant, so it is known. So what is required thing? This E.
Intensity, total
Intensity.
Yes, E.
But intensity we cannot measure directly. Generally, the devices what we use is measure power. So we'll convert it into a form
Intensity.
that
Oh.
is power. So what is intensity? Again, intensity is energy per unit area per unit time.
Yes, sir.
Intensity is energy. Write it in your copy, it's easier. Intensity is energy per unit area per unit time. And what is power? Power is energy per unit time. So can I write intensity is power by area?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Huh.
Intensity is energy per unit time per unit area, and energy
Yes.
per unit time is power. So power by area is nothing but intensity. So this is
Intensity.
now area you can easily measure with the help of power device. You can measure power. So when all these things are known, P is known, A is known, sigma is known, you can estimate temperature easily. In fact,
Yes, sir.
a student can do it easily to measure the temperature of a sun.
Yes, sir.
So these are the basic salient features. So from this intensity spectrum, we have only understood two laws: Wien's displacement law and Stephen-Boltzmann law, and we understood how we can apply them. Though we'll apply it in with the help of numerical problems.
Hello, sir.
Huh.
Sir, we know the where the Stephen Boltzmann law applicable, but can you tell me the Wien's displacement law?
Wien's
Where I
displacement
can.
law. Okay, like when you are sure about, whenever you are sure about the color emitted from a body, and you want to measure the temperature of the body, then you can use. Like for a distant star, you cannot reach to the star. No way you can reach there, but you can observe the color coming from that star. So lambda m is known for the star. You want to estimate the temperature of the star, use Wien's displacement law. Even for your home applications which are emitting light energy, if you are sure about the color, that means I am observing this particular color. Orange means which shade of orange. If you know it, then you know the wavelength of it. Then you, with the help of Wien's displacement law, that is lambda m T equals to constant. Constant is known, lambda m is known to find the temperature. So it is also used to measure the temperature of the body. Now, one thing you can think that these laws are derived for perfect black bodies. True, but we can use them for normal bodies which emit radiation also. There will be some errors, but within the approximation, these errors can be tolerated.
Okay, sir.
We'll discuss more about the applications when we do the numerical parts.
Okay, sir.
Now, the two laws we have observed, that means Stephen-Boltzmann law and Wien's displacement law, these are not actually the theoretical laws. That means my point is these laws are not derived. These laws were estimated from the experimental data. That means the experimental data are fitted and these laws are formed. There was no particular theory behind it. From the observations, these two laws came. But if we want to interpret this curve, that means this is the experimental curve. Now scientists need an formula. That means they require a formula with the help of which this curve can be drawn. That means if I know the formula, I can draw this curve. Now there are so many attempts at that time. So many attempts were done, but all of them were failure. Because the basic thing at the time was that what are the laws or what are the science or at that time, that means it is before 1900. Laws were classical mechanics, that is Newtonian mechanics. Laws means there were heat thermodynamics, there were electromagnetism, but there was no quantum theory. And that is the reason all the attempts went on to failure. What are those attempts? First attempt or first great attempt was by Wien again. That is called Wien's radiation law. It says this E lambda, one thing you understand from the previous graphs, one thing is understood that this intensity of radiation or E lambda depends on wavelength as well as temperature, because we have seen if the temperature is changed, the curve is changed. If the wavelength is changed, curve is changed. So it is a function of wavelength and temperature, no doubt about it. So in the Wien's radiation law also, we observe that it depends on this wavelength and temperature. These are the 2 points.
Yes.
Now, if we try to use this formula, that means if I want to plot this formula onto this experimental curve, we'll observe this type of pattern. I'm just putting the points. It will look like this. If I take the point, that means I am taking I have fixed lab T is fixed say at 3000 Kelvin, whatever with the experimental curve. So T is say 3000 Kelvin. Now for different wavelengths, A and B are constants. I have not written the values of constants because that is not required. The point is A and B are the 2 constants. Now the point for different lambda, I am estimating E lambda with the help of this constant and lambda T, and getting the value of E lambda and plotting them. So it will look like this. You observe one thing, at the lower wavelength side it matches well. In the lower wavelength side it matches well, but at the higher wavelength side it deviates from the experimental data. So Wien's radiation law is very good only at the lower wavelength side, but at the higher wavelength side it deviates from the experimental curve. Get it clear? So Wien's radiation law is applicable. We can use it. We can use Wien's radiation law only at the lower wavelength side. For this region we can utilize Wien's radiation law. But if we try to use it for the higher wavelength side, you observe the experimental curve. This is the experimental curve, and this is the theoretical prediction. They are far from each other. They are far from each other. With more and more wavelength, the gap increases. So it is not good at all for higher wavelength side. That is the failure of Wien's radiation law. Next attempt was by Rayleigh-Jeans. 2 scientists simultaneously tried to fix this problem. That means they tried to find out a formula which can fit the experimental curve. Let me remove these points, otherwise there will be confusion. Bear with me, please. Okay. So next is Rayleigh-Jeans law. Rayleigh-Jeans law gave this type of formula. The intensity of radiation E lambda again depends on temperature and wavelength, but the nature of the formula is changed. It is 2 pi c kt by lambda to the power 4. Since it is very easy, I have written it in the whole form, or you can just write this whole thing as a constant. So you understand this is the constant. C is velocity of light in free space, constant. K is Boltzmann constant. So 2 pi ck is a constant. Say at by lambda to the power 4. At by lambda to the power 4. That is Rayleigh-Jeans law. Now Rayleigh-Jean's law is very good in the higher wavelength side. That means if I plot the E lambda at higher wavelength side, it matches very good with the experimental curve. It matches very good with the experimental curve. But when you go towards the lower wavelength side, it will go like this. Because you observe, if lambda tends to 0 here, what will be E lambda? E lambda tends to infinity. Because here E lambda is inversely proportional to lambda to the power 4. So when lambda is reduced, lambda is towards the lower wavelength side, E lambda, that is intensity, should go on and on. So E lambda should be increased continuously. So the curve should look like this. It will go on and on. It will go on increasing. But experiment says that the E lambda should decrease. Beyond a certain value of wavelength, experiment says that intensity should decrease. But according to Rayleigh-Jeans, E lambda should increase at lower wavelength also. So there is a large discrepancy. Hopefully you understand there is a large discrepancy. When Rayleigh-Jeans theory says that at lower wavelength side, intensity should be very large, experiment says intensity should be very small. So at this point, intensity is very small. Intensity is very small at this wavelength. But at this wavelength, E lambda should be very, very high according to Rayleigh-Jeans law. So there is a